Welcome back. We will be doing exercise for star in this video for math unit 1. Okay, so let's begin with question 1. So you have 1/3 plus 5 over 12. You will have to make the common denominator. Alright, so from here you can see that 12 can be the common denominator because 3 you can multiply by 4. So this will give you 4 over 12 plus 5 over 12, which gives you 9 over 12. Nice single fraction. However, this is not the simplest form. If we change it to simplest form, this will become 3 and 4. Therefore, your answer will be 3/4. Okay, 3/4 for question 1. Alright, so let's move on to question number 4. Okay, I'm just going to be skipping some questions here and there. In between, if you have questions which you'd like me to do, just let me know in the comment section. Yeah. Okay, let's move on to question 4. So in question 4, we have 11 over 15 minus 3 over 20. Okay, so if you make the common factor, 60. Alright, so this is 11 multiplied by 4 over 60 minus 3 multiplied by 4. Okay, not 4, 3. Okay, divided by 60. This gives you 44 minus 9 over 60, which gives you a nice number of 35 over 60. And if you were to convert this to the simplest fraction, there's 5 as a common factor. So this gives you 7 over 12. Of course, this is much simpler. However, if you do it the more straightforward, okay, not really straightforward, but the more easier way without trying to think about the lowest common denominator, what you can do is you can just multiply both denominators together straight away. So what do I mean? So basically, if you bring this down and you take 11 multiplied by 20 over 15 multiplied by 20 minus 3/15 over 20/15. So what I'm doing here, basically, I'm just getting the denominator of both sides, multiplying by that. That way, you will definitely have a common denominator, but the numbers on top will be pretty huge, alright? So this will be 220 minus 45 over 300. Alright, so 220 minus 45 basically will give you 175 over 300. So in this case, you can proceed on to cancel away the common factor. If we have 175 because it ends with 5, we know that 5 is basically a common factor. If you divide it by 5, you will left with 35, and this will be 60. And we can, of course, remove this even further by 5. This gives 7 and this 12. So essentially, you will get the same answer of 7 over 12 and 7 over 12, regardless of which denominator you choose to work with. Alright, so this is, what's this? Alright, so number 4 will be 7 over 12. Alright, so let's move on. Question 5. Alright, question 5. We have 3 fractions in this case. 3 fractions. So basically, 1 over 5 plus 3 over 10 plus 9 over 20. Alright, so let's do this one at a time. So across the board, you can see that basically you would like to find a common denominator for all 3 fractions. 20 seems to be a nice number, and it seems to be the easy one. So we make 20 the common denominator. How do we get to 20 for the first fraction? You multiply it by 4 over 20. Okay, for the second fraction, you multiply it by 2. 3 times 2 gives you 6, plus the third fraction, you do not have to do anything like that. Alright, so altogether you get 19 over 20. A nice number. Okay, and let's go on to number 8. This time around, we have addition of mixed number. Right, so you got 6 2 over 5 plus 7 1/3. Okay, so first up, obviously, we have to change this to an improper fraction. So 6 times 5 plus 2, 32 over 5 plus 7 times 3, 21 plus 1, 22 over 3. This gives you 54. Oops, not 54. Yes, so I forgot that we have to change it to common denominator again. So in this case, we will take 32, all right, times 3. So in this case, 32 times 3 over 15. Okay, because we would like to make the common denominator 15. And 22 times 5 divided by 15. Okay, this should give you a value of 96 plus 110 over 15. Okay, 110 plus 96 gives you 206 over 15. Okay, 206 over 15. So in this case, we will then convert this to a mixed number. Okay, so 206 divided by 15, you will have 13 wholes. Okay, 13 whole units parts. Okay, and you minus this from 206, you should get 11 out of 15 as your final answer. So this is for question 8, 13, 11 over 15. Alright, so let's try with a different one. Question 9. Similarly, mixed number. However, this time around is subtraction. So same idea, 7 2/3 minus 1 over 6. Oops. This gives you 7 times 3, 21 plus 2, 23 over 3 minus 7 over 6. Okay, same thing, we would like to convert the denominator to make it common for both fractions. So you multiply by 2 for the first fraction to make the common denominator 6. So you have 46 minus 7 over 6. This gives you 39 over 6, which you can cancel it by 3 to give you 13 and 2. Therefore, 13 over 2, and you get a number of 6/2. Okay, so 6/2. This is 6/2. Okay, let's go on to number 12. Okay, number 12. Alright, so you have number 12. Okay, similarly, convert these numbers to a improper fraction. 6 times 2. Okay, so let's say I work out the steps. 6 times 12 plus 1 over 12 minus 4 times 10 plus 7 over 10. This will give you 72 plus 1, 73 over 12 minus 47 over 10. Okay, so in this case, we can use 60, alright, 60 as a common denominator. So how do we get to 60? From 73 over 12, we multiply it by 5. 73, 5, 60. Minus 47 multiplied by 6 over 60. Alright, so with that, 73 times 5 gives you 365. Minus 47 times 6 gives you 282. So if you were to use a calculator, it's quite straightforward. But if you have to do it the longer way without calculator, 365, 282, you minus it off. This gives you 3. 5 minus 2 gives you 3. 6 minus 8 is not enough. So you borrow a tens from the 3, which you remaining 2, you got 1. So 16 minus 8, you get 8. So therefore you get 83. Yeah? So basically you will have an answer over here as 83 over 60, which is the same as 123 over 60. This will be your final answer for question 12. 123 over 60. Okay, 123 over 60. Okay, so with that, let's move on to the next page. We have a remaining of 13 and 14. Okay, 13 and 14. So Tonia and Trinia twins, their friends give them identical cakes for their birthday. Tonia eats 1/8 of her cake, Trini eats 1/6 of her cake. So how much cake is left? So this is more or less a practical question again, all right, of how fractions can be used in actual questions itself. So in this case, both have the same cakes. So basically you have one whole and you have one whole. So basically Tonya have one, Trini has one. Okay, and Tonya eats 1/8 of a cake, Trini eats 1/6 of her cake. So in this case, the question is asking how much cake is left. Okay, not how much is eaten, but how much is left. So we can see that the amount of cake that was eaten by both of them is basically, all right, so let me work it on top. It's basically 1/8 plus 1/6. Okay, this is the amount of cake that was eaten. So let's make it a single fraction. All right, so in this case, 24 will be the common denominator. So I will have 3/24 plus 4/24. This gives me 7/24. Okay, this was the amount of cake eaten. Okay, so because there are two full cakes, we would like to figure out how much cake is left. Therefore, we will move on to find out the 2 minus 7/24. This gives you the amount of cake that is left. So basically, if you convert this to 2 whole parts by a denominator of 24, this should give you 48/24, which is actually 2 minus 7/24. And this should give you 41/24. Okay, so if you express it in a mixed number, one full whole is 24. So 41 minus 24 should give you 17/24. This is the amount of cake left. Okay, so that's for number 13. Okay, so with that, let's move on to number 14. Okay, let's move on to number 14. So a part has broken on a machine and needs to be replaced. Replacement part must be between 7th 1/18 cm and 7th 1/6 cm long in order to fit. The diagram shows the replacement part. Okay, will this part fit the machine? You must explain your answers. Okay, so replacement part must be between 7 1/18 and 7 1/6. So somewhere along the length. Being 7 1/18, this will be the minimum length. 7 1/6, this will be the maximum length. So we have the diagram on the right, okay, given in red and yellow as the replacement part. So is this going to fit into the machine? So straight up, we should know that we should be adding both the lengths given in terms of the diagram. Of course, this is a simple question. We are not going into the case of whether or not the breadth, the 3D image, all these fits. We are just comparing the length dimension. Okay, so first up, we are going to add 4/7 plus 2 1/3 together. Of course, with two improper fractions, first step will be to convert them to two mixed number. First step will convert them to improper fractions. So 4 times 9 gives you 36. Okay, 4 times 9 gives you 36 plus 7 gives you 43/9. Plus 2 times 3 gives you 6 plus 1, 7/3. This gives you 50. Oops, again. Before that, we have to convert the same, to have the same denominator. So for the second fraction, we are going to change it to 3 times 3, which is 9 as a denominator, and 7 times 3, which gives you 21. So in this case, you have 64/9. Okay, 64/9 for the length of the replacement part. So is 64/9 in between 7 1/18 and 7 1/6? Based on this number, you can't really tell. Yeah, you can't really tell. So you have 7 1/18, supposed to be the minimum. 7 1/6 supposed to be the maximum. Now you are expecting 64/9 to be somewhere between the minimum to the maximum. So how can we compare? So we are expecting this to be somewhere in this region. So of course, in order to compare, we will need to make sure that we can make the denominator being common. But first up, we will need to convert everything up to improper fractions for accurate comparison. So we will use 18. Okay, since 9 and 6 both are able to reach 18. So 18 times 7, you get 126 plus 1. This gives you 127 over 18. And what about 64/9? 64 you times 2 gives you 128 over 18. And what about 7 times 6? So this is first step up. 7 times 6, 42. This is 43 over 6. If we were to convert it even to common denominator of 18, so 43 you must multiply by 3 to give you 129 over 18. So we can see very clearly 127, 128, 129 over 18. 64 over 9, which was the dimension of the length for the replacement part, is smack in the center of 127 and 129. Therefore, this part will fit the machine. Okay, therefore this part will fit the machine. Okay, so hopefully this was clear. In the next video, we will be moving on towards the order of operations. So likewise, anything, just let me know in the comments below.